Alright, we are now officially recording, guys. So we are going to go over study guide because don't forget your test is tomorrow because of our weird schedule, okay? So your test for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 7th will be tomorrow. Not only do you have your basic unit test, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, you have your fact fluency test. So that's the 100 problems in 5 minutes. 4 minutes, sorry, 4 minutes. It'll be the last one we do, okay? So we're going to move on from that after tomorrow. Looking at number 1, subtraction. Can I ever change the order in which those numbers come? Yes. Not for subtraction. Remember, addition and multiplication, we can change them. That's called the commutative property. But for subtraction, they've got to stay in the same order. Okay? So, 5 minus 2. 3. Okay, can I take 1 from 0? No. Alright, so we've got to go ahead and go next door and borrow. So, 10 minus 1 gives me 9. 9 minus 3? 6. And 8 minus 2? 6. So you should have 6,693. Make sure, guys, as we're going through this, though, that you correct any if you need to, okay? Number 2. Can I change the order of addition? Yes. Would it make sense for me to change the order of these? No. Yes. It's going to be a little more friendly. I honestly, if I'm adding, I'm going to start with my largest number. Just because it's easier to then line up. You could put the 925 on top of the other, but to me it's a little bit easier starting with a larger number. What's 5 plus 6? 11. 5 plus 2? 7 plus 1 is 8. Yeah, y'all got to step ahead on me. 9 plus 4? 13. And 3 plus 1? 4. 4,381. Yes, sir. Oh, really? You good? Okay. If not, stop me because I'm working these with you. I can make mistakes too. Alright, any questions about 1 and 2? We good? Yeah. Guys, these are where we saw careless errors last week. Make sure you double check yourself, okay? I want you to go ahead and recognize, what does that dot mean? Okay, the reason I want you to be familiar with it, when we get to algebra, we're going to be using variables. And sometimes variables, which are letters, can be the letter X. Why would we be confused between X and... Exactly. So sometimes we need to recognize that this dot also means to multiply. So here we go, 757 times 79. 9 times 7? 63. Okay. And that's 45 plus 6 would be 51. 9 times 7? 63. And then plus 5 would be 68. Okay. I'm done with my ones place. What do I put? 0. Placeholder. Very good. 7 times 7? 49. Okay. 7 times 5? Plus 4 would be 39. And then 7 times 7 again. Plus 3 would be 52. Okay. When I look at your papers and you have a multiplication problem wrong, I don't know if some of you noticed yesterday, the first thing I look at are these 2 lines. I look to see that you have the same numbers that I do. So if you're ever getting a problem wrong and you want to check it, check to make sure your multiplication on both lines are correct. Okay? So 3 plus 0. 3. 9 plus 1? 7. And 9 plus 9? 18. And 7 plus 2? 8. 9. And then 5. Don't forget to add that 1 to it when you carry. Okay, division. This is the big one. 11,692 divided by 316. Can this number go into 1? No. Can it go into 11? No. Can it go into 116? No. Can it go into 1,169? Yes. How many times? 3. All right, I'm going to go ahead and multiply through. That's 18. That's 4. And that is 9. Okay, so 9 minus 8 is 6 minus 4. 11 minus 9. Okay, so we're checking to make sure that this number is less than this. It is. We can go ahead and bring down our next number. So, how many times can 316 go into 2,212? And guys, here's the way I look at it. My first number is a 3. First 2 numbers here are 22. 7 would be a great estimate to get me close to that. And sometimes it may not work. Sometimes I may have to go back. So 7 times 6, 42. 7 plus 4 is 11. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22, and we have no remainder. So 37 should be your answer. Can y'all see that okay?
Yes.
All right, the pencil's kind of light, just making sure. All right, we good? Okay, moving on. Multiplication again. This one is 3 digits. So we've got 8, 37. Actually, I'm going to move over here to make sure I have enough room. 837 times 3, 48. Okay, what is 8 times 7? Okay, 8 times 3 plus 5. Okay, 8 times 8. And we'll add 2 to it. Put our placeholder, okay? 4 times 7. Put my 2 up here. 4 times 3. Add 2. 4 times 8. Add 1. Now, what do I do in this next row? I got to put 2 placeholders because I've moved from my 1's place, from my 10's place, now I'm on my 100's. 3 times 7.
21.
Okay, 3 times 3 plus 2 would be 11. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 would be 25. Okay? We good so far? Wonderful. All right, so we add that, we get 6. 17, 7, 12, is that right? 5, 11, 12, yeah. 7, 11, 9, and 2. 291,276. That one you have a couple of more opportunities you could make mistakes on just because of the amount that you're multiplying and then your addition. Do you guys see why it's so important to set your problems up neatly? Because if you don't line those numbers up correctly, you're going to have an error, and you may have everything done correctly, but if it's not lined up, then you may get the problem wrong. Okay, number 6, 700 minus 237. Can I take 7 from 0? Okay, so I've got to borrow. I'm going to go next door. There's nothing there. Go all the way down the street. That 7 becomes a 6. But what I want you to realize, I'm not taking 1 away. I'm actually taking 100 away. So when I go back, I'm leaving 90 here and 10 here. What's 90 plus 10? 90 plus 10? 100, which is what I borrowed from here. Okay? So whenever you have those zeros, remember, you're actually adding up to where the last one, you'll add 10 to it, because what you're borrowing has to add up together. So that 90 plus 10 would equal 100. All right, 10 minus 7. 9 minus 3. 6 minus 2. There we go. Okay, we'll slide this up just a little bit. Okay, number 7. We have 1,750 divided by 140. What number do I have to look at first to be able to divide? Yes, 175, and that will go 1 time. So that's 140. We subtract. Is 35 less than 140? Bring down my 0. How many times will it go into 350? 2, and that gives me 280. And when I subtract here, I end up with 70. Whoops, let me slide up. All right, what do I do with my remainder? Well, put it as a fraction first, and then yes. I noticed yesterday several of you trying to simplify this fraction. Guys, if you have 2 numbers and they both end in 0, can I cancel out those zeros? Yeah. Yes. So if I cancel out those zeros, I'm looking at 7 over 14. Is that a little easier to simplify? So that will become 12 and 1/2. Be careful when you are simplifying and you tell me it's equal to, don't say 12 and 70 over 140 is equal to 1/2. Don't leave out that 12, because it's really equal to 12 and 1/2, okay? All right, last one on the front. 5,642 divided by 65. Okay, we're looking at 564. How many times will 65 go into that? 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6 is 48. Plus 4 would give us 52. Very good. Okay, so 4, 4. I have 44 left. Is that less than 65? Bring down my 2. Okay, how many times will 65 go into 442? So 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 6 is 36 plus 3. That gives me 39. Borrow 52. Is that less than 65? So 52 over 65. Can I simplify that? No. The only number that will go into both 52 and 65 is 1. So we're done. All right, any questions on the front? Are we okay? Feel pretty good? How'd we do? Good? Awesome. There are 10 questions like this on your test. Well, 8 computation, 2 word problems, and then your 7 vocab words. Okay? All right, let's look at the back. Number 9, Jose eats lunch with 8 of his friends. He brings a bag of candy that contains 184 pieces to share. How many pieces does each person get, including Jose? What do we need to know there? Super important. There's actually 9 people. He has 8 friends. He's a friendly guy. Including Jose. So, just like if you're going and trying to figure out how many pieces of candy you and your friends would have, if you want some, you have to count yourself, okay? So, we would be dividing 184 by 9. How many times will 9 go into 18? 2, which is 18. 0, bring down my next number. Now, you guys noticed this yesterday on your checkpoint. Anytime you bring a number down, you have to have a number up top. So we brought the 4 down. Can 9 go into 4? No. So what do I put? A 0. Okay? And the way you can go back and kind of check this in your mind, if I were to multiply that backwards and I just had a 2 up there, I know 9 times 2 is 18. That's nowhere near 184. But 9 times 20 would be 180, which would make more sense. So, how many do I have left over?
4.
Okay, 4 out of 9. So we could say, I almost wrote the wrong thing. Each person, and remember, a complete sentence, would get 20 pieces with 4 left over. Let's take this one step further. If we wanted everybody to have 1 more piece, how many more would he need to buy? 5. Because we know 4 ninths, if we want a whole another round where everyone gets 1 more piece, we need to have 9 ninths. So we need to have 5 more pieces. Okay, number 10. Miss Rose needs to order new math books for Thompson 6th Grade Center. There are 183 students on each team. The 3 teams are the Braves, Dreamcatchers, and Wigwams. How many textbooks will she need to order? So how are we doing this? How are we figuring this out? Absolutely. So we're going to do 183 times 3. So 3 times 3 is?
9.
3 times 8?
24.
3 times 1 plus 2 is 5. So, Miss Rose needs to order 549 textbooks. Pretty straightforward, right? All right, make sure you're studying your vocab. We're going to go through those really quick. I'll give you just a second. Make sure you've got that one down. Okay. What is the number by which a dividend is divided? Just tell me.
Divisor.
Awesome. Divisor. Okay. A number that's being divided up.
10.
Okay. Number that evenly divides a larger number.
Factor.
Awesome. What is the number that results when dividing numbers? Yeah, that's basically the answer to a division problem. What about when we add numbers? Subtract?
Difference.
You guys are rocking. And multiplying.
Product.
Okay, so always remember with product and factor, factors are like a factory. They make a product. So whenever you have a multiplication problem, it's factor, factor, product. Okay? So if you are evenly wanting to divide a number, meaning there's no remainder, it would have to be a factor of that number. That's why I want you to understand this word. Evenly divides a larger number, it's got to be a factor of that number. Okay? Any questions about your study guide, your test tomorrow, vocab? Don't forget you can study this on Quizlet too. Alright? You can go back and watch the video. I'm going to stop it real quick.